Here we go. So he's going to tell us what's to be excited about with the Acolyte, because he's one of the people who's more so, in favor of it compared to us. So it'll be interesting to check out.
I could tell by those tweets, yeah.
Wow, that's light speed.
Baby. Punch it, I'm Jacob, and welcome to Light.
Oh, fuck.
He's already pointing.
The pointer! The pointer!
He's got the Last Jedi poster right there as prominent as pot. He's got a fucking Funko Pop of that goober.
Yeah.
He's what's her name?
Dizzy.
He's dual wielding.
He's got Funko Pop for Rose Tico. He did that on purpose.
Yeah.
Who would buy a Funko Pop of Rose Tico?
Look at his face.
Wait, is that Chris Gore? Like, who's the one on the left?
Look, I don't want to do the thing, but I'm gonna this face with how he looks, the Rose Tico Funko Pop, the Last Jedi poster.
Finish it.
It's a vibe. It's a vibe.
I thought you would say he's well groomed, Rags. Look at him. He's not he's. I mean, there's all the side stuff on the sides on the face, but maybe that's just a preference thing. He's got interesting eyebrows. He's got
I was about to say he's got those Kirby K-pop.
They're very expressive.
Yes. There's no
Which, to be honest with you, is perfect because there's not much emotion in the Acolyte trailer, but he can bring it.
And to say that the trailer for the
Pointed out, if you will.
anticipated is honestly kind of an understatement. Aside from a trailer shown at
Was
Celebration,
anybody anticipating it much
Calm
at all?
down.
editing.
Anticipated was an understatement. I mean, like we knew it was coming for years.
Yeah, I mean,
It
didn't shock us.
Did you expect the red lightsaber though?
Oh no, that was
multiple.
That shocked me. That's when I pressed the like button and subscribed to Disney Plus because that red lightsaber. Oof.
Yeah.
Serious question. What do you think's the worst name? The Acolyte that just is like nothing, or the Rise of Skywalker that sounds like shit, but at least references the Skywalker.
I think the Acolyte's a better title than the Rise of Skywalker.
I think I prefer the Acolyte.
Yeah,
I prefer the Acolyte.
Though
I would go with the neutrality of it.
The Acolyte would be weird in the format of like the Skywalker Saga film titles. Meanwhile, the Rise of Skywalker as a TV show name would be pretty weird. Again, you know what I mean? Like there's contexts that work better for both, but I think I would go with Acolyte. Yeah.
things were kept pretty secret from pretty much everybody involved with this series. With the very few details that we were told being
What are these what are these edits with all the swiping in?
Well, also the
hand,
hands,
blaster
because
noise.
he's doing all these motions with his hands, but then all the images go on top of the hands. Like
it's
he's just
insecurity. There's so many distractions.
He just loves to gesticulate.
He's
so
very
many distractions.
Italian.
he's high energy. He needs to express like crazy, and he's gonna do it by gum.
vague, which is really funny considering like all of the leaks with all of these other recent Star Wars projects.
What a really good, that is a really good, that's the high quality, high quality images you found of these big movies.
If you're gonna do this, put the effort in. I don't want to rag on the guy.
They're the leaked images, right? Yeah.
Came out ahead of time, so that's why they look bad.
Oh, that's true.
Oh, okay.
Ah, fair
That
enough.
makes sense.
Fair, totally.
We
fair.
retract our insults.
We were.
The collage.
Yeah,
I was distracted by his main channel, Jacob Suggs, is lowercase, but he uppercases on and the, so it was distracting me.
Oh yeah, that's not correct. That's not correct.
I like the future
Maybe
Suggs coming in on the past Suggs here. It's a huge blurry mess, but it's like it's so urgent what future Suggs has to say that past Suggs is out at this point as our presenter. Just create this artistic image.
Title though, so the capitalized T on THE might be appropriate because the title of the show is the
for the is yes.
Okay,
yeah, for the is good here.
But the on, yeah,
Right,
the on
yeah.
is that's incorrect.
That being said, after dropping one of the hardest teaser posters I think I've ever
Hardest.
Oh come on!
That's why everyone loves it.
There's another word that's been ruined, and fire and all that stuff. Just say it for everything.
Hardest. And Goes Hard has been ruined.
You know.
In your entire life, this is one of the hardest teaser posters in your entire life.
I don't believe you.
To be fair, his life is only like 20 years, so
It could be 22. You never know what would have happened.
Acolyte is
even
finally
then, no,
here.
no.
Somehow, I'm even more hyped than before.
Because of all the
And he shows
lightsabers.
lightsabers. He shows lightsabers.
Oh no, another future Suggs coming in the
Anime
past.
Right off the bat, the vibes that the trailer gives.
The vibes, and it just shows him sitting there, bored.
I like how we went full circle to the little alien guy. I like that.
Yeah. I can't believe the arc he's had.
He's the Asian guy's like, the alien's about to fall asleep.
Yeah.
That one alien just hoping no one notices he can't close his eyes. Like, God.
How come we're the only two aliens in here and both of our eyes are pure black with no line for expression?
You ask them a question, they're just like, blah.
Even though we're joking about this, even though we're joking around about this, it still highlights the potential of how much you can get just by having alien characters. Like, this discussion just from their features. Just aliens being in the room in this stupid scene is getting more than, like, whatever characterization we're going to get out of this show. I just wish they would commit.
Is it a coincidence that they both have Funko Pop eyes?
I didn't even think about that. Ugh.
Dang it.
I only thought about it because of the.
That's another thing I hate about the Funko Pops, the dead ass eyes.
Yeah, they look like shit.
From the every time I look, both the High Republic and the prequel trilogy itself, in all the best possible ways, if you're asking me. Like,
what was that?
Pointing.
The way this is edited is fucking nuts.
What is the zoomer editing?
Switching back and forth his angles. That could be
he'll actively interrupt himself to just say the end of the sentences. Like, hang on right there, buddy. I gotta finish this myself.
People can't keep attention for more than 16 nanoseconds. I have to have some sound effect or some sort of a video slide, or I have to turn my body, or I have to wave my hands. I have to throw cocaine at the screen.
I think he's evolved. Like, the pointing wasn't enough. It's just not enough. People were like, the pointing's cool, man, but I need more. I need some slides.
No, there's a difference between like pacing and like just distractions, because this to me just screams like insecurity. Either for himself, he's not confident that he can entertain his audience, or he's not like confident that he has an audience with a proper attention span.
Just wait.
This isn't what you should be doing.
If he's figured out how to get algorithmically successful tweets, maybe he'll do it with videos someday.
Oh my God.
Gotta point the fingers in the right direction.
Of both the High Republic and the prequel trilogy itself, in all the best possible ways.
Yeah, like, what was that?
Like, from the opening alone, it looks like something
that's happening.
Stop.
I can't. I'm having a hard time just following the sentence.
You know what? It's edited like a short, like a YouTube short or a TikTok.
It is actually hyper distracting to pay attention to what he's saying, because it's just like.
And then in the back, you have a cantina music that's like remixed to be this lo-fi jazzy thing. It's all
distractions. It serves no purpose. Yeah.
From the opening alone, it looks like something that you would just see released around the time of the prequel trilogy.
It looks like something you'd see released around the time of the prequel trilogy. Okay.
And what way do you mean? Explain
yourself.
It takes place around the time of the prequel trilogy in Coruscant. Is that why?
I'm like stunned. So he was talking, then he puts a visual on screen, and then we have, like, for 2 seconds the frame of, I guess, the end of that sentence with the new frame coming in. Mm-hmm. What is that?
He's already outdated. New Suggs, let's go.
Which makes sense considering that it aligns perfectly with the synopsis that they dropped for the series.
Do you get a flash frame there?
As well.
It makes sense that the trailer aligns with the synopsis.
Dude, there's something hilarious about the fact that
my brain is fried.
It makes sense that it evokes the prequels, considering it's set 100 years before the prequels. It's just like, that's kind of funny.
Snuggle a puppy metal, it helps.
This guy
It's weird that this is credited as the Acolyte synopsis Lucasfilm. That's not something a human does.
That's very weird.
An investigation into a shocking crime spree pits a respected Jedi master against a dangerous warrior from his past.
Oh my goodness! I can't wait to see what happens. I hope I hope they all die. I don't know.
A lot of people have been highlighting that if it's a Sith, it'll fuck up the line from the prequels about how the Sith haven't been spotted for like 1,000 years.
They don't give a shit.
I was see. That's kind of my opinion straight away. Was like, yeah, they'll fuck that up. Why wouldn't they? They fuck everything up.
Yeah,
of course.
Unless everyone who sees the Sith dies or they become Sith.
Well, I was going to say, there's a lot of ways around it. Not that I would assume they would want to work toward that, but like you can have all kinds of things that would explain a line like that still happening, even if there's a Sith here that gets killed. Everyone could die, or it's not a Sith, or the lightsaber is actually from a Jedi. He's just made it red because he's all mad.
He was the first to discover the red flavoring that you could sprinkle on your dilithium crystal.
Ooh.
Follows an investigation into a shocking crime spree, pitting a respected Jedi Master against a dangerous warrior from his past. So it looks like we're gonna have like a murder mystery or detective story set within the Star Wars universe, which again feels very
maybe
considering that it was
what it fucking said.
Oh, what's going to happen is it's going to be
prequel.
Here's
Why?
what's going to happen. The first episode is going to mildly be about an investigation, and then the plot will happen, and that will never be revisited. Only the part of the first episode will have anything approaching that kind of a concept for the show.
Well, yeah, because by episode 2, it'll all be revealed, like, who it is and what their motivation is.
Yep, we'll be going into space. We'll be doing something. We'll be tracking someone across the stars. And then begins the
adventure of the galaxy-spanning consequences of the story.
Yeah, we'll learn about why the O in Acolyte is a weird glowing semi-blue
She's looking for, like, a portal to another dimension or something, and that's why she's killing the Jedi. Not because of any personal grudge or something. She needs their blood to open the doorway to the different dimension or some shit.
Yeah, because there's an old Force temple on an old planet, and they have to put the thing on the pedestal so that it opens up the something to show.
I'm also amused by, like, it'll be something to find out, much like in episode 2, which is why it evokes the prequels.
Something out.
Like,
yes.
Okay.
Remember tenuous connections here.
Well, to be fair, whenever people ask me, as they often do, Rags, what's your favorite part about Star Wars Episode 2: Attack of the Clones? I say, well, I love it in this movie. It's really about trying to find out something.
That's what we always say.
I think that's really the core of Star Wars.
There's no mystery
trying to find
box
stuff out.
There's zero mystery box stuff in the J.J. Abrams Star Wars.
Remember
films.
Master Cypher Diaz?
I don't.
Bring Rags, you
don't
remember
ever
that?
get to see him.
It's crazy. Say all the time.
Master Cypher Diaz.
Ordered the clones.
No, shut the fuck up. I wanted to see if they say it.
Oh shit.
You said it. Well, you did say it like Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Yeah, he says a lot of things.
Yeah, you were
the whole
referencing
fucking movie.
You're referencing when Obi-Wan Kenobi talks about Master Cypher Diaz.
Yeah.
I still can't get over the fact that we've never heard about Cypher Diaz again.
That's right. That's kind of what I was getting at. Was just the Attack of the Clones is a funny movie. They're all funny.
It is a weird movie. I love just trying to figure out the whole clone plot thing. It's just bizarre and weird.
Darth Tyrannus. Anyway, go on.
Attack of the Clones. It's very influenced by the prequels, as you can tell, and if there's one thing that I love about the High Republic era that is also...
I don't know that I care.
I don't give it... I don't...
mean anything to me. Doesn't...
Yeah, I know what was really influenced by the prequels? The fucking Obi-Wan Kenobi show.
Yeah,
plenty of prequels in that.
And it isn't even the prequel era, it's the High Republic era, as you've just pointed out, which is a different era than the prequel, so...
Well,
you know...
His primary praise, because by the way, for those at home, we're like fucking a third of the way through. His primary praise so far is it's connected to the prequels, not really in story, but sort of in aesthetic.
Yeah. That's
okay, that means nothing in terms of quality, but okay.
Could have assumed
doesn't mean that
like,
much in terms of Star Wars. Like, I mean, that's like you've been using the same robes and lightsabers and
their roby robes, gray hallways.
Well, if he's saying that the Acolyte
cross guards in that picture, though, to be fair.
Well, if he's saying that the Acolyte is going to be a CGI monstrosity, then yeah, it's going to evoke the prequels really well.
There was some practical stuff there, Rags. You got to say that these days, otherwise you're going to make everyone mad.
There are some practical stuff, whatever. I don't know.
I will say it's funny to pause this video because most of the time it's him in motion. Like, the amount of cuts he has of the phew.
I like that he's animated. He's really excited to talk about stuff,
pointing a lot of things out.
Are essentially Texas Rangers, kind of like traveling around the galaxy.
What?
Huh? Texas Rangers do not travel around the
galaxy.
No, come on. He's referencing the Jedi travel around Texas, and it's very big. It's basically the universe.
Texas is the galaxy,
and they stop crime and they investigate things, and they have some extra judicial power. And then the lightsaber comes out, and they say stuff, and then Force happens.
And then they go, "Oh dear, a Sith," and then they go.
Would we have not understood the sentence? They roam around the galaxy like space rangers.
Anything?
No, you have to relate them to the Texas Rangers.
You have to remember this guy he's AI. Like it's all buzzwords.
I guess it's fine.
He's not gonna. I don't think he's gonna like elaborate on any of these thoughts. It's just gonna be buzzwords and like these just like tweets.
I'll give it to him. This is a better point of something than the previous point he had. The prequel said, like, just saying, wouldn't it be fun to see a group of Jedi that travel the galaxy searching for answers to a case related to some conspiracy that may be happening? I'm not even sure if I just made that up as opposed to that's what he's saying. But even still, it's a lot to draw from a trailer that doesn't really show you that at all, other than it shows you the Disney version of that.
No. This is all just the meta information about the High Republic that has basically been stated. I feel like this is actually something that's just been stated by writers on that project that's what they are.
Because the trailer just said
Jedi are in that world.
The trailer just said someone's killing Jedi. A darkness is rising.
That's it. Don't use your eyes.
Pretty much.
Like, you can't trust your eyes for kids.
I have a feeling that all the investigative portions of it are going to be very fucking lackluster. Like,
probably they're going to be shit.
Based on Ahsoka, yeah. Look at her stupid little investigations.
Well, hey, this isn't written by Filoni, so there's a chance it'll be okay.
Is it kind of ironic that the TV show trailer essentially begins with the line "Don't trust your eyes"?
It's just
well, it's what Fring was bringing up, right? That it's probably going to be thematically relevant, at least as far. Maybe we're giving them too much to say that.
It's going to be.
My guess would be it is like, see, the galaxy looks peaceful, but it ain't, and that's your eyes deceiving you. The Force will guide you.
Remember, old Palpatine tricked them. He clouded them. That's how he did it in the prequels.
That's right.
He put little clouds everywhere.
But again, Anakin kind of trusted in the Force, and that didn't go very well for him.
Yeah, but then Luke did, and it did go well. So there.
That's so it's all balanced out. Yes.
Do you remember when we covered the guy? I don't think Fringy was there, Rags, but the guy who said that the balance of the Force was literally individual users, as in.
I think I know what you're talking about.
The Force always rebalances based on the amount of users there are currently active.
It was Freddie Prinze Jr.
Yeah, no. We covered a video that went over it like in depth with diagrams and showed like the sides and the progress over time, and that Rey was activated because there was too many Sith.
Bottles led him to that theory. Like, come on,
it's just
don't try too hard. Like, just let it go.
Balance is good. The light side is balance. That's the point.
George made it
balance. It's not meant to be like, oh, well, we gotta fucking balance the scales here, whether we got enough Jedi or Sith fighting each other.
Disney completely made it so confusing. Like, what is what is this balance now? Like Kylo and like
balance is good.
Trio,
a dyad in the Force.
Like, what the fuck does that mean?
You made a duty in the Force.
You did a poopy.
Why'd Palpatine die? He told her.
In the Force.
That's
one of the biggest mysteries in all of Star Wars is why Palpatine died. I have to say, and he would
not
die if he was killed.
I know about this. He asked him to do it, and he died.
No, the biggest mystery in Star Wars is where's Valorum?
Yes.
That is
I
one.
just assumed he moved away to a nicer planet like Naboo or something like that. Got himself a nice cottage, and he's an old guy, right?
Why didn't Kylo bring his lightsaber? Why did he die from using
basically
in the water?
That's how you win the Star Wars world. People think that the Star Wars world, you want to be a bounty hunter or you want to be some cool Jedi or whatever. It's like, no, fuck all that shit. Get out of this madness. Get yourself a nice little house on some little town in some planet somewhere. Find a lady, settle down. Fucking Ewok.
The guy on the train. You know, in the Dr. Pershing episode.
Oh, definitely the train guy. Yeah. I also, like Dexter Jester when he was doing his 50s diner, like when Coruscant was flipped over in terms of who's, currently in power, he was probably fine. Yeah, like Palpatine might even have fucking ordered waffles and pancakes or whatever there every morning. You'd be like, yeah, man. Like, you were friends with Obi-Wan? And he's like, no, I didn't even know Obi-Wan. I don't know who that is.
No. You just talked about it. You talked about it in the first Kenobi episode, but like Kenobi, it should have been like history of violence, like him trying to protect Luke, but without revealing his identity and not revealing that he has the Force. Force him to be in situations where he has to actually choose: am I going to let this person die, or am I going to potentially reveal, my abilities? Like, there's just so many things they could have played with having the tension. You don't just need lightsabers. I want to see him cutting meat and stressing over Luke.
Absolutely,
and stressing over the past. And like that first episode, they had something for a second. I remember I watched with my friend. And he was so excited. I'm like, no, calm down. Just
Calm
wait.
down. Wait.
And then I had to like literally convince him to watch episode 3 after how bad 2 was.
It all fell apart.
I like that Dexter Jetster idea with him and people just kind of coming in. Palpatine just walks in to get breakfast like it's a Waffle House.
It'd be so awesome.
He sits down at the table and he asks Dexter Jetster, "How come all your forks are shaped like Kamino saber darts?" And then Dexter Jetster says, "No reason."
How awesome would it be though, like to legit have that scene and like for the actors to play it straight? I feel like all Star Wars fans would enjoy it.
Take it seriously. All these things, they don't take themselves seriously in any situation when they can, and they get so much like people would love it, man.
Well,
like,
Star Wars needs to emulate the Robot Chicken parodies of itself in order to make good content.
Emulate History of Violence. That's a good movie. Metal, we should do a History of Violence episode. It's good. Diego Mortensen.
The Rogue One scene with Vader isn't just reference because it's a cool action scene. It's because they took it seriously. Like those fucking launch, like they were legit were like look like they're
scared.
Trying to get their, I loved them. Like holy fuck, this is like a horror scene with Vader. You nailed it. Never did a fucking cool thing with him ever again. How long ago was that? And it's not just the action; it's the tone, and just take it seriously. Take all this seriously, and I'll show
for
up.
Rogue One. So almost 8 years on Rogue One this year.
When we were speculating on Obi-Wan Kenobi options, right? Because there's about 10 billion in terms of them being good. And this is something. It's funny because you could just decanonize it and redo it again. They'll never do that, but I don't know why no one's ever tried. Like the closest we've gotten to is Dark Fate, I guess, saying that we're redoing the timeline. Fuck the 2 movies that came out before. But then you know what I mean? Like I don't know, see why they don't do that more, like with Game of Thrones, as you were saying, or.
That was the one. They should have set a precedent, and they should have changed the game by being like, you know what, we got they would have made their money. It would have been.
It makes no sense to me.
Like, it makes no sense. What have they done since? All the actors, fucking Eternals, and Arya's dressing like a freak now, or fucking Maisie Williams.
As far as I see it, it's just like everyone assumes, I guess, that you wouldn't make money back, but like I feel like you would though. Like,
they would have. They would have.
Certainly, if it were like high quality, but. Imagine like the Kenobi show, but it just because I think we said it never leave Tatooine. You don't need to. And how low budget that could be, despite the fact that I fucking hate the amount of times they've used Tatooine sets.
Yeah, but
obviously I wouldn't mind as much if it were actually good.
That moment of him acting with Vader at the end, let's isolate that moment over a season. That's what
I don't want him seeing Vader at all.
You know what I mean? Like, no. I'm talking about the acting that he had.
The quality of it, sure.
The quality of the acting in that moment is what we should have gotten over the season and instead of seeing like the aftermath.
Yeah, wasn't I could have sworn we read a synopsis of like a potential Kenobi movie was going to be that he was dealing with some kind of attack in a local area, like people trying to take advantage of whatever town and stuff, and I don't know if Luke got kidnapped or Luke was in trouble, or it was maybe Uncle Owen, right? Like he gets kidnapped or something like that, and so Obi-Wan like tries to get involved but doesn't want to use the Force, doesn't want to use his lightsaber, that sort of stuff, and it would be awesome if they like hire a bounty hunter to help them, who's very aware of Kenobi's bounty, but like doesn't know what he looks. Oh, I guess how you'd work that around? You'd have to maybe he's just aware of Jedi, but not Kenobi himself.
Yeah, there's things you can play with and ways around it. But I feel like maybe that was their original idea, and then like the Mando influence just changed their plans.
If they were like really, you build up the whole relationship by the time you hit the end of the season. The bounty hunter guy is like about to get killed by someone, and he has to save him by using either a lightsaber or the Force. And by doing so, the bounty hunter realizes who he is and then attacks him. Like how amazing that could be, despite the fact that we would only need a couple rooms, caves, like really low budget.
An opportunity to show what he's willing to do to protect his identity, to protect Luke. Like there's so much character. It could have potentially been the best Obi-Wan content for a character that everybody loves, but we haven't really gotten that much of. He was just kind of like,
you don't even have to stop at one season. You could keep tackling it over and over, because like the fact that they brought in Liam Neeson's Qui-Gon Jinn to just go, hey,
come on.
If you're gonna bring him in, right?
What to talk about?
Good God! Do you think that was them being like, "This will make people want a season 2? We'll get them."
I was watching those EFAPs, laughing as just Fergie's like, they're gonna bring in Qui-Gon, right? That was Qui-Gon, right? Like every single episode, like on like.
Why do you say Qui-Gon?
Huh? Qui-Gon.
What do you call it?
Don't worry about him. He's Canadian.
All right, that's fair.
Well, yeah, we thought
the
last ditch attempt would be when Obi-Wan is crushed by all the boulders that he would bring him in.
Yeah, that's when you do it.
Yeah,
that actually makes sense.
That's what he thought.
It was right at the end, like, hey, let's go for a walk.
Come on now. Like,
remember when you needed my help and I wasn't there? Let's go.
Where were you when I was under the boulder?
It's okay. I knew you'd think about Leia.
Oh my god.
We're not
Where were
fans
you
of
when I
that
was on
show,
fire?
just FYI.
Leia.
And enforcing the law whenever they can. So having a show that takes that concept and brings it to life, it really piques my interest a lot. And I just have to say that one shot at the end of the trailer where like all of the Jedi just like whip out and ignite their lightsabers.
Why is it good?
Peak.
Fucking hell.
Say something!
Oh, it's absolute
He did it.
peak,
So
isn't
back.
It's
Peak
absolute
fire.
peak,
We're so
yeah.
back. We haven't been there, but we've returned. We're back.
Do you ever think
Did
that
you
like
miss they get,
'cause
like
that felt
Did you
like the
miss-
algorithm thing, like him
The
saying
Jedi
this.
just like whip out and ignite their lightsabers. Absolute peak. Like we are so back.
He must know.
That's
we
a
are
frame
so
stop.
back. We are so back. Yeah, this is very robot-y, isn't it?
I almost want to appeal to him pragmatically. I'd be like, you're one of the thousands of people saying this very same thing. Don't you want to have something different to say? Like anything different?
Well, yeah, I mean, what chance do you have, What chance do you have? There's a million things like this out there.
We are so back, are we?
Like vapid,
Well, that's the thing.
hype.
Where did we go if you've loved all of this? We haven't gone anywhere. What's wrong? What's happening?
Yeah,
I
well,
just had a
how
little
can there be
vacation
so
and now
back?
we're back.
Ahsoka only came out a little while ago.
And Ahsoka was great, right?
There was no
Anakin
coming
was
back.
in it.
You were already there. We're so there. We were already there, or something.
Fire.
I mean, but what is he? What element of this is he saying makes it peak? And in that case,
Did you not listen to him?
Lightsabers.
All the lightsabers.
You didn't hear the words the man said?
no,
Yeah,
but
they ignited their lightsabers. We're so back.
Do I just have a bad definition of peak? Because peak means like nothing is better than this. Meaning you're saying this is better than anything that's ever happened in Star Wars. Like, I don't think he thinks that.
They have fucked all vocabulary, every word.
Yeah, this lets us peek into the mind of a madman.
Guys.
When your mind has been just absolutely subsumed by internet vernacular and algorithms that
I will
guide
say,
your choices.
This is the retarded Negaverse version of us saying this is the worst thing I've ever seen, like with a lot of films subsequently. It would be like us saying this is Valley, bro. This is just pure Valley.
I mean, the thing is,
This is pure Valley. We are so not there.
we are really far away, bro.
Very far
the thing
away.
is, though, I've used the term peak recently, and it was when I was doing kind of like a little impressions video on the Tekken 8 campaign. And I do mean it when I say that the last few fights in that game are peak Tekken, because it's like the craziest shit that happens between two of the strongest characters that have been around. Both of them have been around since Tekken 3, one of them since the original game. And it's an epic battle where they end up in space with superpowers and then land on a volcano, which are pretty significant in Tekken, and just have a straight up fist fight that's really
Pretty significant
over
here.
the top.
In the real world.
Sorry?
The volcanoes are.
Yeah,
volcanoes.
But I mean, the guy you're fighting actually was thrown into one by his father. And, I mean, personally significant to those two specifically. And the one that you're playing as is the son of that guy. So the grandfather of the dude that dropped the guy in the volcano. But anyways, I'm saying that it's bringing a lot of story elements into the original, from the original series to this moment in the narrative. That's kind of like, hey, final showdown between Jin and Kazuya. Let's see this go down and have it be the most over-the-top anime battle you can imagine, because that's what Tekken has always been. So I actually did mean it was the peak of that series storytelling that is, granted, silly anime shit, so you might not like it. But if you do like it, it's like, they pretty much gave you the ultimate version of the Tekken arc ending. And so I was clear about saying peak as like,
I enjoy how much you were desperate to justify using peak.
My point is, though, I had that much thought into it because I'm thinking that, like, would you not want to, if you're using a term that definitive, would you not want to at least have an argument that you could convince yourself of?
No, I am completely
the lightsabers turned on.
He's subsumed in the algorithmic speaking at this point. Like, it's...
Yeah, just
it's fascinating
you say
to watch.
peak fire because it's kind of appealing to you. It's peak fire and we're so back. Yeah, and it's fascinating because this is just like kind of silly, isn't it? You know?
Remember
really
your thought process for using the word cataclysm for Doctor Strange?
Oh god, I went over the amount of words I went through trying to figure out what.
What's the right one?
Oh yeah,
For me,
brainstorming the right words.
Yeah, well, and then I tested
me,
them all out on loads of people, being like, which do you think captures what I'm trying to go for? Which do they get it? It's so funny. I could have just said, it's just Valley, bro. Valley.
I haven't done too many of them, but like for me,
Peak
that word would be
trench.
desecration, like the desecration of Luke. Like that was one of my first videos. Like that word just like really that summarizes for me what I feel in terms of character assassination. Like you've just desecrated something special. Just yeah, I know what you mean, Mark. Sometimes the words
mean things. That's
words have meaning.
Sure do.
Well, I'm not going to blame him for destroying Peak. That's the world for you. It is weird, right?
Ask this guy why he's saying Peak.
We all make fun of like radical, and it's like, well, that is just that. Peak is just this year's version of that, right? That's all that is.
Yeah,
radical, bro. Bring back radical.
Tubular.
Tubular.
Tubular is a funny one. It always was.
I will say, I feel like probably wrong, maybe I'm biased, but I feel like the eruption of cool being used to describe stuff kind of came up with the 90s and 2000s, and it's managed to survive. It's just accepted.
I mean, as a person who was
cool, yeah.
I'm an old man, so I was around in that time, and I honestly think it has a lot to do with Bart Simpson specifically.
Cool, man. I just think that like it's not cringe enough that it like burnt out. It just stayed.
Yeah,
saying stuff is cool. Peak will leave eventually.
Oh,
Peak will leave. Peak will leave the room, and we will all be happier for it.
But enough about the Jedi. Let's switch over and talk about the dark side and the Sith. Consider
he was like
enough about the Jedi. You barely said it.
Talk about him.
He said they're Space Texas Cowboys.
That's it. Yeah,
that's enough.
And then they ignited their lightsabers, and it is Peak, and we're so back, and now we're
invaded.
Oh, we're now back to the Sith.
This is what I mean about the distractions, like in his editing, where like it's distracting. Like he hasn't said anything, and now he's just like, "Oh, enough of the Jedi." You haven't said shit. Like,
and so for anybody, we're halfway through now. That's half of the points done.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh my god.
In theory.
Considering that their presence is just kind of looming over this entire teaser.
I mean, looming. They're like actively attacking.
Look, that's
about them.
It's got a knife.
She's right there.
They're just it's about them.
Assuming this is a dark side person, I don't even know. Who knows? Because this could just be some random assassin, right? Like, not random. It won't be random in the story, but it may not be a Sith assassin.
I feel like Carrie Moss is the Sith Lord person.
Hey, I'm leaving it open.
I mean, I can't help but think that like, why do they have her here if they're not going to like make her the one to whom someone becomes an acolyte? Presumably this.
Well, so here's a radical thought. We had these thrown out for Obi-Wan, and then it turned out to be true. Like, maybe she's gonna be a good guy by the end of the season.
Yeah.
I mean.
Doesn't that sound like the kind of shit Disney Star Wars do? Where they're just like, she's misunderstood, or she's trying to kill the Jedi because they know they can't. I was about to throw in like they can't know a secret, and then I was just like, fucking whatever. It doesn't need a reason. It would just be like, oh, I misunderstood. I thought you guys were the bad guy. It's just like, yeah, whatever, fine.
My first take when I saw them fighting is that like they're both going to be redeemed at the end or anything. Like they can't be made. They're not going to make a bad female character. It's just Disney. They just can't.
Yeah,
which just feels like
good and
like Reva.
When designing stories in their little boardroom, it really does feel like someone says, "Bad guy turns good." Yeah, all right. Nice.
Oh, great idea.
All right, see you tomorrow, guys. That's it. Like, pretty much that's most of the season.
That's all they learned from the OT, like the fact that Vader sacrificed. They just don't understand why it was significant. They just
listen. Bad guy lady turned good.
That's it.
And then they have like some intern be like, "What would we put in the middle?" And it's like, "Come up with something." It's like, "What if the little girl was chased by many grown men in a forest?" That could be good. Yeah, let's do that.
Excellent.
That was the scene. That was the one.
Let's make it go on for a really long time.
I love that the fucking actress, Baby Leia, like she made fun of that scene.
As she should.
Or whichever one. Yeah,
she made fun of that and the cloak thing, right?
She was adorable, and she was actually a good actress when they gave her like, content for the few scenes. Like she doesn't deserve that show. I don't think it'll follow her at all.
No, I hope
no
not.
one deserves that show.
She didn't deserve it. It's just like I just, the whole thing with Jake Lloyd and everything. I see her being stronger than that. I think she's gonna like acknowledge what that was. I don't know.
Well,
I'd hate to see
Jake Lloyd has schizophrenia. I think he's diagnosed with a mental illness, but
Oh, does it?
Yeah, and
she's just a woman,
I mean,
so.
that's
I
tough
think
to overcome.
people try to claim that the pressure of what happened with Star Wars is what gave him schizophrenia, but I think his mum has said that's not true.
Oh, okay. So narrative that people just jumped. Yeah, that's the thing, man.
Let's be honest. People love a chance to say toxic fans are the worst. They ruin people's lives and all this stuff. When we wouldn't advocate for or ever do any kind of sending messages to actors, that makes no sense.
No. Look at all the Rose Tico shit. Like, what? Who gave?
Yeah, well, other than when actors themselves put out a message saying like "fuck all of you," for, you know, if they do something like that, but never for their performances.
No.
Even if they're shit. Sometimes when they're shit performances, it's funny. Look at Madam Web.
I think so many people were able to separate. Like, I'll give you another good example. Kramer from Seinfeld. I know so many black people who still enjoyed his character as Kramer, even though remember that racist rant he went on, like ruined his career like 10 years ago.
Yeah,
you always get that.
Where he dropped a few N-bombs.
Yeah, but you make your decision there of just like, you know, on one side, like black person you're offended, but on the other side, man, it's having a bad set. Like it's just like you separate these things, you know. Because Kramer, that performance is iconic. I'm not gonna just shit on that. Kevin Spacey is another one.
Yeah, I was about to say it's the eternal question behind every movie Kevin Spacey's ever been in, which was good, which sadly is quite a few.
I mean, he's undeniably a fantastic actor. He's just a piece of shit.
He's a creepy fucker. That's part of the reason that it comes across in all of his performances. Like I watched American Beauty in the theater when I was like 98, so I would have been like 8. And it's like, yes. And my mom would take me to these things. They didn't give a fuck. I just remember being like, this is the creepiest fucking man I've ever seen in a movie. Why'd they take me to this? This is so awesome, though.
Yeah, you put that with Seven and House of Cards. It's just like this calculated, manipulative, horrible monster. Like you're really good at playing that guy.
Yeah, he's so good, man. I think some of
does
the
it
best
really count
actors,
as him being an actor then?
Yes, you took it right out of my mouth. Some of the best actors have to have a little bit of themselves in the performance. He's an actually creepy fuck. Denzel's actually a cool motherfucker. Christian Bale, I think, has some serious anger issues.
And
that
Anthony Hopkins eating plenty
he's
of people.
actually old, yeah.
Yes. Fava beans. I think a piece of it has to be real. A piece for some of the best.
It's very rare that things as simple as lightsabers tend to
fuck
pique
this
my
guy.
interest.
Oh man,
However, that one shot of the red lightsaber igniting and being thrown at the end of this trailer.
Tell me why it's good. Come on, I beg you. Give me something, anything,
Tell me why
please.
It's good. Do it.
Really piques my interest a lot, actually.
You already said that about the other stuff. Piques your interest.
And this one piques your interest, but why?
Tell me why.
Now, to be fair, Peak and they are two different peaks. One is PEAK and the other is PIQUE.
You know which one he's using.
Oh, yeah.
That's technically two different uses.
That.
Now, if he was to spell them out, I don't know if.
I'm saying his interest was piqued earlier. I'm pretty sure he mentioned that about the fact that it's Jedi detectives or whatever. He's like, "Oh, my interest is piqued."
My interest was piqued by the Peak Fire. That's why I peeked into the trailer.
The Sith are.
See, that's 3 peaks, 3 different peaks.
Damn.
Not
PEAK,
really
PEEK.
around, or at least the Jedi are led to believe. If you're asking me, I feel like this show has the potential to fill in some gaps of the prequels and explore the Sith unlike ever.
Wow,
How?
It's 100 years before the prequels.
Yeah.
Fill the gaps in the prequels 100 years before they happen. What?
This is like saying that All Quiet on the Western Front is going to fill in some gaps from the Hurt Locker. And I'm like, I don't know, guys. This is an odd one. It's a bit of a stretch.
What the fuck? That's such a good point. But this guy's just saying absolute nonsense.
That sentence was going to be Saving Private Ryan, and it was way funnier than it was Hurt Locker.
It's about 100 years, so, it's about appropriate.
God, so desperate to even claim anything is happening because nothing's happening.
This is a prime example. I'm telling you, for anyone in the chat who's like, "Oh, the pause there if you're new for this type of shit." This is why you pause. You'll miss how fucking stupid this is. Like, this is like he's not saying anything. All of this is just complete nonsense. Like, it's so bizarre to see this.
I don't even know what it could be. It'd have to be like Yoda backstory because he'd be alive.
I mean, unless it means lore. Like, does he mean lore stuff? Because do they care about lore?
Valorum.
Less. I don't even know if they know the meaning. They might be like the law, like LAW, and you're like, no, that's like stories that happened before.
Peek in the law.
Maybe even giving us our first live-action look at Darth Plagueis.
Oh, fuck off!
No, I don't. Fuck off.
Okay, let me be clear. Let me be clear, because this is going to be people who be like, whoa, why do you hate Black? It's like, it's not about that. It's the, like, I wish I could see a video from someone who speculates Plagueis showing up and then follows up with why they would like that to be explored, what it's going to mean to the characters, why we would discover more, and maybe even reference to like third-party stuff or, you know, EU that's been lost now about like how there was a really meaningful story that regarded Plagueis that they could maybe adapt. Like, just please give me something instead of, you know, the guy, the one.
He described a key he wants to see jangled. He didn't describe a character that he wants to see.
Well, that's what's maybe he will in the remaining like minute of the video.
Like, isn't that what? That's what happened to Thrawn. I'm assuming.
Oh
like,
yeah.
After all the hype, I'm just like, okay, give it to me. Space Tywin. I've heard all this shit. I can't believe we got that coping asshole. Like it's just.
They did
I think he's
better
gonna
on Rebels.
thing.
I'm not even kidding. It was
wrong. But
I think I'd first heard of Thrawn before we'd even started EFAP and stuff. Obviously, because he's not exactly a young character in terms of Disney canon.
93, I think, was
but
when
like,
that book came out.
I hadn't heard of him because I didn't really explore the extended stuff, or expanded universe, I guess it was called, right? But like the thing we'd said for like years on end on EFAP is you don't want him because they'll ruin him, and it's so weird to think now like they did. Eventually, it took years, but they had him and they ruined him. And it's like, is Plagueis the next one? It's like, yeah, probably. Yeah, he's probably the next one's coming, and he's going to be ruined.
That's what I was saying. I feel like he's going to be the next Thrawn in terms of the same pattern, because this guy is like, more people probably know about Plagueis because of the prequels than Thrawn, and Thrawn was still like hyped and completely obliterated. I just, from the performance to his like everything, his posture, his little pot belly, like just nothing was working, and I don't botch this one if of it. Like, leave this alone. I don't ever want to see it. And
but like, is it not indicative to you that it's just like, that is Star Wars, isn't it? And that's how it churns the fans forward. It's just like, well, we haven't ruined this.
We could see this guy that hasn't
here before. They can't, like, we know this actually has an effect. They can't, nobody's saying like, I hope Boba Fett gets his own X. It's like, yeah, because they did it. They spent the card. It's done. It's over.
Yeah, it's ruined. Good job, guys.
Not to say that if they made a sequel trilogy that people wouldn't be, the sequel season, that people wouldn't be like, ooh, you know, there'd still be some hype, but like, you've killed the majority of it. It's just like, so, because Plagueis, thinking about it, that is digging a bit. You know, he's no Obi-Wan Kenobi show. He's no like Clone Wars show. This is a character that some people may not even know what we're talking about when we say Darth Plagueis. For instance, like, because for a lot of people, he's only referenced in Revenge of the Sith, and that's it, right?
That's what I'm saying, but that might be enough. Like, that's for the casuals.
That's what I'm getting at. Is they have squeezed so much of Star Wars. You just like, what do they have left? And they've started like, it would be useful to have Ryan here to sort of explain this, but they squeeze the shit out of expanded stuff without people mostly knowing. Like, they've stolen so many character ideas and then like ruined them. Yeah. It's remarkable, actually. Like, if we had 100 things they could have gotten to, they've gotten to like 60, 65. And it just feels we're going to keep going. And Plagueis may be next on the plate at some point.
It's just, what can we use? What can we, like, just milk? There's just no storytelling.
I'm shocked they haven't used Revan or Darth Bane yet, because those are probably
those will probably come up.
Starkiller.
I'm not sure if they want to canonize Starkiller at all.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't think so. Especially when they have Starkiller base, you know, there's like there's a little bit too much overlap.
Never even played the game.
Theirs.
I never even played the game.
But they steal.
I distinctly remember.
I think they would rather try to make their own stuff.
What, Ray?
They might. What they might do is announce that we're going to be having a new character that was an apprentice of Darth Vader. It's going to be played by Sam Witwer, and he's not going to be called Starkiller, but you'll understand. Everyone's going to get super hype, and then they release the show, and it's terrible, and we go, oh.
I think he might be a character in that new Ubisoft game coming out, the Outer Worlds one, or what? I don't know. Whatever.
He certainly still participates. Something the Theory brought up on one of our latest Stargriffs was that he's sad that there used to be a time, and because it's one of the clips I reference in EFA Part 4, I think, of or 3, where Samwit was making fun of TLJ on his live stream, and he says like, yeah, that was like one of the last times you'll get that. He doesn't do it anymore. Like, he's not that honest about his perspective on Star Wars anymore, because, you know, you can't be and simultaneously continue to work for them. And it sucks because I'm sitting here like, that is shit, actually, because you kind of need to toe the line somewhat if you want to make a difference from the inside, you know.
Play the game.
Yeah. Well, it's funny, right? Because you might see Jon Favreau or Dave Filoni as being that kind of thing, and it's just like, why aren't they have power now? Use it, make a change if you can.
But the people who do that, look what happened. I feel like Edward Norton would have been a better Hulk. He would have had the balls. We've talked about this before.
Oh, sure, yeah, but he's just too disagreeable, right?
And he's probably he could get called problematic. Henry Cavill for wanting to like stick to the lore. Jen Ortega.
Well, as much as
called difficult.
I get what you're saying. It could be something that when like it could have been that working with Edward Norton is so fucking difficult you never want to work with him again, sort of thing. Could be that.
I would like to know. Well, one thing I can't remember where I heard it, but I do remember him saying that he wanted it to be like much more gritty. He wanted the Incredible Hulk the movie to begin with him trying to kill himself. Well, he wanted a much darker version of it. And
yeah,
that
keep
alone,
in mind, he wanted, I think, he had his own script and he wanted to film his own scenes like while they were filming the scenes for the main directors, so he could present like his own ideas. Which
maybe a bit of both.
I was going to say that's quite an ask considering Joss Whedon got cancelled for having said like "fuck you" to people giving him script notes, like not even filming their own shit. Like imagine directors who just aren't interested at all. And then you go like, yeah, can we just take 5 to film my scene? Be like, no, you fucking delusional freak. Like, why would we ever do that? We're like, okay, jeez.
How do you get to the point that you're in business together, making a film, and you guys don't have like your mutual interests established and like clearly like?
I actually think that's probably more common the higher the budget goes, because everyone's thrown together like and just like make the thing. We all know you're reliable, and then they all clash on their different operations. Like when they bring in like a fixer-upper director who's supposed to get the job done, it's specifically because they'll be like, you go there, you go there, you go there, and someone's like, oh, I had an idea. It's like, shut the fuck up, go there, stand there right now, and you're like, oh, okay.
There's no room for it at that point. It's a simple thing of like, try ordering a pizza with 3 people. Okay, and I'll try ordering a pizza with 17 people.
You can put I thought you meant as a topping.
3 people as topping.
How dare you?
That's a big pizza.
You just know it gets so complicated. Like there's too many cooks in the kitchen type thing. And
especially when you have the Disney production where they just have to churn out the sludge every fucking month. And it's like, we can't do anything different.
Well, that's the thing, right? The bean counters and stockholders, they like produce more, make more money, and then the money starts going down, stock starts going down. It's like, whoa, okay, stop, what's going on? Like, then it's like, turns out it's quality, and they're like, what is that? What is that word? What does that mean? Can't you make more and then more happens?
It's the disconnect. Certain things. Like you never know. Like I think this is true. I hope it is. But I remember when they went in to make the Lord of the Rings, Peter Jackson, they thought they were only gonna let them make 1 movie, and like, there's 3 books, make 3 movies, and then they're like, okay, and then that's how they got the green light to go through it.
Yeah, I think he was interested in making 2, right? And then they said do 3. And like, oh shit,
it was 1. He
just
thought
1?
they'd only let him commit to make 1, and he's no, there's 3 books, make 3 movies. We're like, all right, bro, let's go. I remember, let's do this.
Well, I know originally the Hobbit trilogy was going to be 2 movies.
Oh, for fuck's sakes, that should have been 0. But like 1. I don't know. What are the most films, man? The Hobbit is just. It was nice being back in Middle Earth, but damn it.
They could probably have made 3 Hobbit movies if they would, because
absolutely they could have.
One of the things that struck me about the Hobbit films, not to go on another tangent, is just that like how little I understood the main characters, and it's like, yeah, you could have. There's so many scenes we're missing where I got to know them, so you could obviously put them in.
Because of our 3 main characters, only one of them was good. So,
do you remember Mary when the hobbits were leaving the Shire and they're like, we have to get debris, and Mary's like, Buckleberry Ferry, come with me, like literally, let's go. He doesn't know what the fuck's going on, but that's a friend. Like immediately, we get their characters established from the very beginning, and like it's so nice to have them helping during that situation because you're fucking getting chased by Nazgul and shit. And that took what 30 seconds? They couldn't do that for 10 dwarves. I don't know one of their names. I couldn't tell you a damn thing about any of the dwarves. And like one
really, you couldn't
from the rest.
One of them likes the elf lady.
To be fair,
I really don't remember that movie at all. Legolas was a dick.
To be fair, some of the dwarves are actually quite well characterized. But
which were you thinking of specifically? Balin, maybe?
Dwalin.
There's one dude who looks kind of like Chad-like, and the rest of them were just like
the one that dwarves.
Which one's
one
Dwalin?
That typically comes to Dwalin is the first one who arrives. He's the bald one,
right?
The big warrior guy.
I remember liking Balin.
Hot take.
Balin is good, but
I'll take Durin.
One who just...
The dwarves in Rings of Power were better than the dwarves in The Hobbit. I will throw that out there. Yes.
Durin's got a lot of issues. Nope. Durin's got too many issues.
Not talking about writing. Not talking about writing.
I gotta watch The
I'm talking about the portrayals. I liked Durin. I liked his drama with his dad. That was the only part of the show that had anything to it.
I think Balin and Dwalin were quite good, and during his strong moments, Thorin's very good. The problem is Thorin's hit and miss, but
you know what? I haven't seen the movie long enough. Maybe I shouldn't say that, but I'll get back to you on that.
The problem is like,
yeah, we gotta get back to Plagueis.
Yeah, we gotta talk to Plagueis.
He might be. Might be here.
Look at that image. His eyes and a cloak and red.
Doesn't mean anything to me.
Yes, it does. It's peak cool Sith.
Shadow and flame. This is fucking
I just do
Look at Darth Plagueis. I don't know. I'm just kind of spitballing here.
Oh, so it wasn't meaningful. It was just spitball. Plagueis will show up.
Admit it.
God damn it.
This is nothing more than speculation. However, considering that everything.
Why do you keep doing that with his hands? He like puts them like they're like he's like karate chopping, and he'll karate chop you.
He's karate chopping your bad opinions with his good ones.
Is that a wedding ring that's black?
Has really been
on his finger.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. I was gonna say something when people said he's like 20 years old. I was like, I don't know. He's.
Well, it doesn't have to be a wedding ring, I guess, but it's weird to put it on that finger if it's not.
Yeah, like that's.
And it is on your wedding ring's on your left hand, right?
How common is it for people to wear rings there when they're not married?
I have no idea.
I mean,
most people wouldn't do that.
It shouldn't be common at all. Yeah.
Yeah, most people wouldn't do that.
I'm trying to think of the last time I've seen that, and it's like,
one of you. Hey, one of you, go on Twitter. Just ask him. It's like, hey, I noticed in your video you wear a black wedding ring. What's up with that?
Oh, I thought you were going to say, Rags, like do a poll to see if people do it, and then I was like, yeah, but you got to apply to the algorithm. So find out about a distant fucking fun fact about Star Wars, and go like, do you guys? I can't stop thinking about the bonus blah blah blah, and then right at the end say like, by the way, do you ever see people with wedding rings where they don't have? Just the people answer.
I can't get over the fact that despite not being married, Han Solo was wearing a wedding ring for the entire original trilogy.
Have you guys seen this typically in your life, your day to day? Is this normal? People don't answer the poll; they just like the tweet. It's like fuck.
Despite taking place entirely in the Star Wars universe, Han Solo looks exactly like Harrison Ford.
Whoa.
Coincidence?
I can't stop thinking about it.
Under wraps about the show until now. I feel like they're hiding something big. However, I guess we'll find out when the series.
He just always starts with a karate chop. Every time it cuts to him, he karate chops.
What do you think they're hiding something big? Do you think that they would ever hide something from a show that's many, many, many minutes longer than 2 minutes?
So here's the thing. I think they need to pull out some stops here because people aren't going to care about this show. I don't think.
No, they need to show. They need to show something.
Like
people. Oh,
it's not just
Anakin.
When we say key jangling, we're not just talking about the insipid and fucking substanceless form of marketing. It's like, well, it does work somewhat. It gets people to be like, oh, I'll watch this. Yoda's in it. I like that guy.
People like the Kenobi trailer.
If
Duel of the Fates, they play that.
Anakin will show up.
So yeah, I would expect them.
That's their trump card.
In trailers, but like, you know, but like to speculate like Darth Plagueis could show up. It's like, you do know that most Star Wars fans don't even know like how much of an implication on anything that is. They'll be like, oh, okay. You get the people who are obsessive in a good way. Like, you know, even us, we know somewhat of what he means, but I mean, first of all, it's Disney. But secondly, if he was to turn up at the end of the season, for example, and it's like, oh my god, he was the one pulling all the strings. Whoa, get ready for Acolyte Season 2. We're all going to be like, wow. Okay. Not going to beat anything. He's just fucking Snoke, I guess. He's just like, but is he going to be killed before the prequels? Like,
don't remind me.
Maybe one of the 27 Snoke clones. Or
the first Snoke clone ever got sent 400 years, or like 200 years back in time.
Pouring out for Snoke.
Pouring out.
Look at how bad the ending one was.
Pouring into the skull's face, Snoke's face.
Fucking hell.
Through the portal that the lady opens with the Jedi blood.
I still think we could fix the whole franchise if we make Snoke the woman in the archives Obi-Wan talks to in Attack of the Clones. That is the key. It just, don't you think it brings everything together? Kind of, it's like, oh shit, that makes sense.
Start streaming on Disney Plus this June. You can rest assured I've already planned to cover every single episode on this channel.
Does this not feel more like an ad than a breakdown?
Yeah,
I'm telling you,
it's just like an ad.
It's a
Star Wars is back. Peak Fire. I'll cover all the episodes here on this channel. Wow, can't wait to see what it is. We are so back, everybody.
He was talking though. He was talking about doing reviews of the show in YouTube short format. So I think that this is him trying to figure that out.
He was talking about Bad Batch when he said that because nothing happens in Bad Batch episodes.
Okay.
This is a man who he's struggling to get to 3 minutes talking about this trailer. Meanwhile, we nearly got to an hour talking about the trailer. I'm not even kidding.
We got 20 minutes on the beard guy.
Exactly. So
we did more than his video with 1 second.
But doesn't that? I feel like that's indicative of a genuine passion, and I hate using that word. But like what I guess I'm thinking about is like we're trying to explain why we have the points of view we have based on everything that we've experienced with everything up to this point and what we think this is going to be. Meanwhile, he's like, lightsabers looking good, let's go. Yeah, okay.
My interest.
Yeah, like, do you like this stuff, man? Like, really, or do you just think it looks nice?
It's pretty peak.
Every single episode on this channel. Until then, we can't really do anything else other than speculate. So I'm very excited for the show.
You've done basically nothing.
He's barely speculated. Yeah,
speculation.
He hasn't said anything.
How is this a breakdown?
He just threw out maybe Plagueis will show up. I don't know, lol.
Has he even talked about Yoda? Has he even talked about the potential of Yoda, what it would be, and what it could add? It'll fill in gaps in the prequels. That's what it'll do.
That would actually be a big indicator of if he actually does care, because one of the potentials should be Yoda, and if he cares, he should mention that. But I just feel like he's just throwing shit out.
The vibe of the trailer, I think it's going to be great. And beyond that, I'm going to take this time to recommend Light of the Jedi by Charles Soule. If you've never read that, it's a great introduction to the High Republic era of Star Wars. Absolutely phenomenal book. Cannot recommend it.
Why?
Why? Why would I fucking do that? What's good about it? He literally
said
it like an ad.
Yeah, like you didn't tell us anything about why.
He said it's a great introduction to the High Republic. It's really good. Here's who wrote it. You should listen. You should like tell me about it, man.
Yeah, like what?
Who was your favorite character in it? And why should I? Without spoiling, you know, like why? What book? Character dynamics or adventures? How do they pace? Just tell me anything about. It's a book. Things that happen in it, right?
All these words in it you can tell me about. It's good. It's crazy.
You can release videos every day.
Go on a rescue mission. Like there's a million possibilities what this book could be about, and he didn't try to illustrate anything.
They got a dinosaur guy. What's his story? What's he do?
Things to find out or something.
Isn't he like one of Bossk's Jeez, how do you do the possessive of Bosk?
Bosks.
I look at this.
Jeez, oh man, that's a lot of S sounds.
I look at this and I feel like the least interesting thing to them, the creators of this, the least interesting thing in this picture is the alien guy over there. Like, no interest in their abilities. Like, there's so many things we could explore. When have we actually explored?
We have to tell the stories of these strong women and their lightsabers.
Like,
look at the hair too.
Yeah, the haircut. The haircut, man.
I've seen people point out the haircut of the guy around a point in this trailer is the same haircut as a lot of people and a lot of stuff these days. The
Echo, Cassante, Killmonger. There's
when
so
someone
many.
brought it up, they were like, "When was the last person you saw in real life do that?" I was like, "Fuck yeah!" It's been. We're talking not just real life, but also like vlogs and people just did videos. I was like, I haven't seen that haircut like ever. It's always in
Where
media.
did that shit? They think every single black person has that haircut, and it's like in games, movies, there's like 5 different other examples we didn't mention. I can't remember them, but
Miles has
There's another one. There's another one
too.
There's another one. I don't know what it is.
That suit with his hair coming out got made fun of by everybody.
That part was really dumb.
Very Batwoman.
Very Batwoman.
I mean that's
very easily identifiable, one might say. Because instantly you're like, oh, Spider-Man, he's a black guy. His voice is really young. He has a distinctive haircut. It's like, all right, we've narrowed it down significantly at a glance.
Who the fuck?
Who you are?
Nobody hides their identity anymore.
Yeah. It is kind of like that.
Miles has a good suit. Like his suit looks fine in the game for most of it, and then they change him to this really weird looking one at the end.
And that's meant to be like the updated cool suit. And it's like, dude, just give me the normal one. What the hell is this?
I remember way back when Spider-Man 2 came out, I had like a friend's older brother who was pissed that Spider-Man kept taking off his mask. He shouldn't be doing that. And he like that was just like the tiny bit of it. But compared to now, where like they always just
with nanotech helmets,
nanotech bullshit.
Annoying.
But it's not just the nanotech.
Isn't it sad that like that's just so far down the list though, like of the issues? Fucking nanotech.
Recommended enough, and I think it would be perfect to kind of lead you into the Acolyte. Again, I thought this.
Why?
Why?
You don't know what the Acolyte's about.
You don't know anything about the Acolyte.
I feel like it's because that book was presented when the High Republic launched as like the book. The introduction. That's like the one that you're meant to read.
But he didn't even say that. If he'd said that,
no, I know he didn't even say that. But I do find it's just funny because he's just saying what the marketing for the book is. Like he's not actually providing a new insight into why. And would it even be? Aren't they separated by like 100 years? Now I want to know.
You know what I'm getting?
Now I want to know.
Well, as I was trying to point out, he can't know that it would be a good leader because he's not seen Acolyte. He has no
not even
clue.
out yet. Yeah,
I don't think he's read that book.
This is
apparently the High Republic spans 500 to 100 years, so it could be as many as 400 years earlier than that.
Oh man.
Yeah, probably fills in some gaps.
And he doesn't know what the show's about. Don't know.
So I'm saying this guy is like
so the Light of the Jedi is set 200 years before the Phantom Menace. So I don't know, man. 100 years apart, and it's gonna be a good lead into the Acolyte. Like I know that there's actually no reason to conclude one way or the other, but on the basis of this information, I would conclude that it's not a good lead into the Acolyte at all.
Well,
that it's totally different, irrelevant story.
It's as far away from the Acolyte as the Acolyte is from
the Phantom Menace. Yeah. But remember, he thinks that it ties into the prequels.
This is why you don't have to elaborate on your points. Just say them real quick and just people absorb it. Like I was gonna say, this guy seems like enthusiastic Chris Stuckman. He's got all this editing and energy, but he's not saying anything. Like both of them just don't say anything.
This video is incredibly hollow.
For the energy.
Incredibly hollow.
You knew that he knew that, right? Like he had nothing.
Absolutely nothing, but that's why I was saying from the beginning. Like
but how does he have nothing?
Okay, but like this is the thing that I don't get about some people. If you're presented with a stone and that's it, as a white room and there's a stone, and they say talk about it for an hour, I'd be like, all right, I think I can do this.
Give this stone a name. You got to give him a name and a story.
Not even that. I mean, like they go review the stone. I'd be like, okay,
it's history.
You know, okay. But what I guess I'm getting at is I might struggle to get it to an hour, but I can get it to more than 3 fucking minutes.
Oh yeah,
definitely.
You can look at the color,
and I don't even care about the stone. I'm not a stone expert. I don't know stone stuff, and yet I can still do it.
How far can I throw it? Does it bounce off the wall? Can I?
Well, yeah, you can test all that stuff and pee on it.
What does it taste like when I lick it? I think I'm prepared for this one. I think I'm going to do it.
Taste it before the peeing part. But yeah. The fact that he couldn't he struggled to say anything about it, and he's so excited.
Well, apparently he's about to reiterate what he's already said because he started the sentence with, again.
This trailer was great. It gave me kind of everything that I expected. Even a little bit more, but it still kind of keeps a lot of stuff up to interpretation. So for that alone, A+. I can't wait to see where they go. Again.
Fucking Christ.
So basically, so essentially he said it had everything. It had everything that I was expecting and more, and it left a lot of room for other stuff. A+.
Yeah.
Like what would have made it or an A-.
All right. I want to ask him, what does an F- trailer look like? What is that?
What does a C trailer look like? What does it look like when it's
give me
average trailer
scale? A-. I want to see what an A- looks like.
A+. One of the best trailers ever made.
This is why I hate when people throw numbers and those different numbers is a little bit better, but specific gradings, it's like, what does that mean? Like,
well,
really?
No, I assume your issue is more so when the grades don't mean anything. Like if you're just throwing, it's the same with numbers.
If I'm gonna make a tier list, I'm gonna spend like hours going over the exact criteria of each letter and how they connect to each other, and how there should be a structure there they can actually follow. So S tier means something. You can have fun with it, but like at the same time, just don't throw out a random A- because I don't think you're gonna be consistent with that. A+. Oh my god,
that's the thing. Like I want to know, like what made it an A+ and not an A or an A-? Because I don't even think he could tell us that.
I would want to hear this guy tell me like why Godzilla -1 is good. Like just tell me. Like Godzilla is peak, it's fire. Is there? Are you actually going to elaborate on these
people were speaking Japanese.
Particularly funny is if it had this level of enthusiasm or review, and then it ends with saying like A-. You're like, wait, why? Like, where did the minus come in? Like, what did it do wrong?
It wasn't as good as the Acolyte trailer.
That's true.
And somehow even more hype than before. Like, I didn't think that was possible, but here.
This dude is my new Glub Shitto, by the way.
Okay, that's kids' terms that I don't understand.
Well, Glub Shitto's just a classic sort of.
I love Glub Shitto.
I think the origin of that is that there's a tweet. Yeah, let me find it actually because I remember it is a funny tweet.
It's really good.
I'm unaware of this entirely.
It's a really good tweet.
I like referencing Glub Shitto because it's so accurate.
Yeah.
I'm just happy you appreciate this little guy too.
Yeah, so the tweet is, every time a new Star Wars movie or show is announced, all the fans are like, quote, "Oh my god, Glup Shido is back."
Oh, okay.
I like a lot, 'cause it's true. But the thing is, what I really like about that tweet is the better times of Star Wars, where that would be something that, like, you do feel, but there's a backing of substance. You're like, oh shit, yeah, that's happening, but also it means this. Because Star Wars' packaging is goofy as fuck at times, but it's like fine. Totally fine. Like the silly names or the absurd like looking things in different places and stuff. Like the cantina is filled with, there's like a werewolf in the cantina in A New Hope.
Yeah.
Who cares? Because it's like
I might have known the werewolf's name. I know that one of the most expensive Star Wars toys to find, like one of the most valuable ones back in the day, was a random cantina goer named Yak Face. It was like $150 if you wanted to buy one in a package, which at the time was a lot for a secondhand action figure.
And I think
it's the impact you can have. It's just a random character inside, you know?
Yeah, when you have names like that in the original Cantina, in that movie, and you find it out because you get every single figurine, you dig down into like one of the deepest fucking forums, you find out it's like, yeah, that guy's name is fucking Thumbo Groin, and you're like, that is so fucking funny. But then when everything falls apart and everything is shit, and then you find out that one of the characters in Solo was called Therm Scissor Punch, everyone's like, that's shit.
I think the best example of that is probably Lurtz, because his name wasn't said in the movie. People just fucking from...
Well, yeah, but Lurtz is a really cool name. What I'm getting at is the goofiness becomes like not endearing when the content surrounding it isn't well made. It starts to come off as just like lame and gay and just trying to like, you know, appeal. In like, look, we're Star Wars because we have a goofy name. You're like, shut up.
Go away.
I prefer the groin names when they were trying. Like, it makes
groin names. My groin is many names.
What did you think of the trailer? Let me know down in the comments below.
You don't care.
You don't care.
You don't care.
You don't care about us. God damn it!
He didn't say anything. How could he care what we have?
Please like, comment, and subscribe.
Nope.
Hit that bell to stay notified. And until the next video, may the force...
The video is only 4 minutes long.
Where's half a minute's worth of
It's already done. That's it.
Oh, half a minute.
Look at his
half a minute.
His outro image is the world between worlds. Possibly the most damage that's been done to Star Wars.
He really didn't like the idea of uploading a trailer under 4 minutes or uploading.
Oh, Rags, Fringy. I learned things from the Stargrift episodes that I just like. I am tempted to watch the Clone Wars just with you guys, just so that we can learn about this. Like, there's gonna be people listening to this who are like, "Why is he recounting it so weirdly?" But like, this is all I got. Okay, Ahsoka and Vader have a fight. The whole building like falls apart, and then he leaves, and then she leaves. But then seasons later, we find out that Ezra goes into the World Between Worlds and pulls her out of the fight, even though we saw her leave the fight. And so the assumption from fans is that she eventually went back through the World Between Worlds to re-enter that world in order to walk away in continuity, if you understand what I'm saying.
Sounds like a good show.
I remember, like, when this was being explained to me and I saw some clips, I was just like, what the fuck was going on in the Clone Wars? Like, what? Why did you need to tell this story? Like, what happened? And you know, it's funny because a lot of it is now bleeding into like live action stuff. Because the World Between Worlds, when we saw it, was absolute insane nonsense. But there's a lot of people who are trying to explain it to make it make sense based on the Clone Wars stuff.
Hello, you just listened to a segment of the podcast Every Frame a Pause, or EFAP. Hosted by YouTubers Mauler, Rags, and Fringy, and joined by a cycling variety of guests across the internet, they critically analyze media with exhaustive detail while pausing at every single frame. Subscribe to the EFAP channel and catch new episodes on Saturdays, as well as catch their smaller videos reacting to the latest and not-so-greatest movies and TV shows throughout the week. You can also subscribe here to EFAP Highlights for the latest shorts, clips, and supercuts, also uploaded throughout the week. Links to all the relevant channels can be found in the description section below, as well as links to their communities on Reddit and Discord. Thanks for watching.